Today I'm going to show you how I use LED constant lights and haze in a can to create images that are just bursting with color. Hey everybody, Lindsay Adler here, and I love playing with color in the studio. And a lot of times I'm doing so with gels and studio strobes, but today I'm going to play around with a new tool that I've been experimenting with a ton and I love the effects. I'm going to be using 4 Nanlite Pavotubes. Now these tubes are constant LED light sources that have a full RGB range. So what that means is I can make them any color I want. Plus, I can change the saturation and the brightness. And so for me, that's translating to a lot of creative freedom. Now it's very different for me to be using constant lights, but guess what? It's what you see is what you get. And so I've been really being inspired because I can move the lights around and just watch as the image changes in front of me. So in this case, I'm using 4 of these Nanlites, and I put them basically in a square around her. 2 as rim lights and 2 as main lights. And so I'm going to build them so you can see what each light is doing and the effect that it's creating. So let's start with our rim lights. Now, I really love my subject's profile, and I also love her big hair. And so although I think I will shoot some images straight on, I'll likely turn her to the side so I can really see those lights carve out the side of her features. All right, so let's start with the back left. Perfect. Okay, so the position of this light is allowing me to carve out her features. It looks beautiful, but of course the rest of her is falling to shadow. So let's add our second tube, okay? So this second Nanlite is making her hair just glow. It's giving beautiful separation. And depending on which way I face her, I can even catch a little bit of a rim light on her jawline. All right, so let's add in my main lights. And fundamentally, what I've decided to do is just place a blue and green on either side of the subject's face so that I can see the interplay of the colors across her skin. Now I've chosen the makeup so that her skin shines, as well as the beautiful glitter in the eyes, because I knew that would pick up some of the reflection of these lights. So let's start with this one first. Great. All right, and now the right. So now you can see what the 4 different Pavotubes are doing. Now you'll notice that they're actually different sizes because the Pavotubes come in a variety of sizes. So maybe you want to have more of a larger light source for more even illumination head to toe. We can go, of course, with a larger tube, or maybe you need something that's a little bit more portable. They have several options for that. And one of the questions you may ask is, how did you decide upon these colors and how did you figure out what setup you wanted to end up with? Well, to be honest, these lights are new to me and I've just started playing with them. So I figured it out through experimentation, which is not usually the answer that I like to share, but I think it should be encouraging. So what I did is I set up these lights. I started one by one varying each color and moving them slightly to see the effect. So a little bit of happy mistakes can actually work out to make beautiful photographs. But the whole idea is that you keep experimenting and you aren't afraid of it. All right, so there's one more piece to this equation that I think makes a really big impact, and that's adding a little bit of environment to the room. As I'm looking at these images, they've got like a vintage 70s, 80s vibe, and so I think I'm getting like maybe like a club feel. And so to give myself that sense of atmosphere, we're going to use haze in a can. And haze in a can is fundamentally an aerosol you can spray in the air, and it creates little particles that when backlit with these light sources will catch the light and create just beautiful glows around the subject. I think it adds a lot more mood to the image. Okay, so will you add some haze to the can for me? Now, by the way, these images have been captured with the Canon R5 and the Canon RF24 to 105. I was shooting at 1/200th of a second, f4, because the lens is an f4 lens, and I'm shooting at ISO 1000. Now back in the film days or early digital days, if you told me that I was shooting at ISO 1000, I would have definitely steered clear because I thought there'd be too much noise or grain. But guess what? In these newer cameras, particularly in the R5, the images are so clean. So I have no fear of shooting at this higher ISO, and it allows me to shoot at 1/200th of a second, which means I can get a nice crisp image. got the beautiful light, the atmosphere to the image, but what really brings it to life, of course, is my connection with the subject, the pose, the expression, the angles. And so that's exactly what I need to do now. So let's get the shot. Great, thank you. I get inspired by many different things. Sometimes it's makeup, it's wardrobe, it's movies, it's lighting, and sometimes it's gear. And this is an example where a new piece of gear has actually completely changed the way that I'm thinking about lighting. In the past, I really haven't used constant light creatively, especially in a way like this, so I can't wait to continue playing around. Now, if you want to see the gear that I use to make these images, be sure to check out the links in the description below and visit adorama.com. And of course, if you want to stay tuned to see other ways that I use these Nanlites, be sure to subscribe. See you next time.